Welcome to the case study Campus Travel in the textbook Leveraging Data Visualization to Communicate Effectively. This case is based on a college that started a campus travel program ran by interns majoring in travel and event management. It ran from January 2024 to April 25th of 2024. All the interns worked approximately the same number of hours with some overlap, and the campus travel was open every day of the week. At the end of the program, the facilitator asked the interns to assess the program and answer the 4 questions you see here. What they delivered was the data report, which was an Excel sheet that could be filtered, along with a few calculations. The professor who was facilitating the program told the interns that filtering the Excel file was fine for their exploration, but he was looking for something different. He was looking for something like a dashboard. When one of the interns asked, "What's a dashboard?" the professor said, "A dashboard is a visual representation of key metrics. I can easily and quickly analyze the data all in one place." The professor saw this as an ideal time to introduce the students to creating a simple dashboard and said, "I'm going to set up some videos that you can watch so you can go step by step through the process. It really isn't that difficult." Welcome to Campus Travel Ticket Sales, a demonstration. Today we're going to look at steps 1 through 5 in one video, and then we'll move on to the next steps with various videos. First of all, this is our data. It goes from row A1 to D36. These items that are here were just used to calculate, to give information about the total tickets sold, the average number of tickets sold, and so on. I know that they are formatted as a table because I see these drop downs. So for example, I can, with the filtering in, I can always find out how many tickets were sold. But notice that these, just as a word of caution, these are still tied into the whole data. It's not adjusting here for this, although we could do that. So basically, I know this is formatted a table. If you ever come into some data and you don't see it formatted as a table, you go up here to format as a table, and then you can pick a color or whatever you want. The biggest thing is, in order to do pivot tables, we need to format as a table. When I click in here, well, first let me show you calendar as well. The other thing that's created here is a calendar. One of the reasons that we did a calendar was because the owner of this, or the facilitator in this case of the campus travel, is working with interns at a college, and he wants to find out if there is a day of the week they could be closed, because right now they're open every day. So what is here in the raw data, we do have the date sold, but we do not have the day of the week. And so this is a days sold, but without duplication. So that means that there could have been more than one ticket sold in a specific date, and we don't really care about that. We just wanted the date, this to represent dates tickets were sold. And then what we did is that there is a formula, text, and then referring to A2, and then you see 3 Ds. Now the Ds stand for day. If I add another D in, you'll notice here that I get the full number of characters for the day of the week. Now I'm actually going to remove that because when you're creating a chart, if your label's very small, it really helps, because then it doesn't take as much landscape from your chart. Same thing with the months here. If I've got the full months, but if I want to get rid of one of the M's, notice now that I just have the abbreviation for each month. Now let's go back into the raw data, and we're going to move ahead. And the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to click on Insert, and you notice I've clicked in my field here in the field of data. I'm going to go to Pivot Chart and Pivot Chart and Table, and in this case it might vary from what you see in the instructions, because if you've used it multiple times it comes up and it knows it. But I'm going to go ahead and we can do either use this workbook's data model or add this data to the data model. I'm going to say add this data to the data model. And what I want you to notice is over here in this area, we don't see the calendar in here. We see the data for the, that came in, date sold, salesperson, destination, so on, but we don't see the calendar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into calendar here, click inside the data, insert, pivot table, pivot chart, and now you'll notice we can say use this workbook's data model. So or I could have said add, it works both ways. And so now we have both calendar and we have data. And you'll notice that I do have a column that is common between the two. I have date sold. So let me demonstrate how we connect them. Okay, now that we have both of the tables over, let's see what happens if I try to do a weekday. I'm going to click the weekday to show down here, and then I'm going to click tickets sold. And when you do that, this is going to be a pop-up that comes up here. We can either auto-detect or create. I'm going to go ahead and say create because I want to show you how to do it. So here we're going to do the data model, data, and the column we want here would be date sold, and then the related table will be our calendar, and of course the common thing is date sold. And so I'm going to go ahead and say okay, and now we've created a connection, and our two things there are connected. Anything that you bring in, you're going to have to always have a connection. So just so you know that will help you. Now, right now I have this over here and I didn't create a chart. So if I want to go ahead and do a pivot chart, we can create one of our choice in here. And of course it needs a lot of work, obviously. And also you'll notice it's not organized by day of the week. So we're going to need to fix that as well. So let's start the next video. In step 8 of the narrative, one of the things to do was to change the title, which I've already done, and I removed the legend. I just kind of got ahead of myself. What we're going to do now, we have these sum of tickets sold and weekday here, which are filters and might be something that you might want in some cases, but we're going to be putting this on a dashboard, so we don't need to do that. So I'm going to go up here into my pivot chart analyze, and I have these field buttons here. And I can click this, and one of the things I can do is click hide all. So those are gone. I don't like the way this looks, but we're moving along. Let's go ahead and sort days of the week. So the way I do that is I click on one cell in here, then right click, and I'm going to sort A to Z, and it'll automatically know to do the days in order. So we now have the days of the week. It's an ugly looking chart, but we do have that. So let's click on our pivot. Besides the pivot chart analyze, we're going to go to design, except you have to be clicked on your table here. And we've got some different designs that we can use. This one, if you hover over them, it'll show you. This one I like pretty well because it's white, but we're going to go with the gray because that's what I demonstrated in the textbook. So we will click this gray. And it doesn't look too bad. We can get rid of these grid lines. You see the little that they are highlighted, and then I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard, and those grid lines are gone, and I think that looks pretty good. I didn't show you in this example here, but one of the things too is you can create templates so all your charts will follow a same format, and I do demonstrate that later, but I'm not doing it today. The name the tab chart step by step, I'd already done that, but all we have to do is go down here. This is where you would type it in because we're going to stay on one worksheet for convenience. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to highlight this pivot table. I'm going to do Control C on my keyboard, and I'm going to come down here and do Control V so that I have my table down here. And what I'm going to do here is I don't want the weekday in here. What I want to do first is I want to do the let's go back here. I think it's the days of the month. So what we'll do here is instead of weekday, okay, we can just remove that field, and we can go down here and say month, and now we have the month. Again, they're not in order, so I'm going to go ahead and sort them A to Z. We got January, February, and now we're going to create our chart. So here we're just going to do our insert and our pivot chart, and it doesn't matter which bar chart we pick because we're going to modify it. And we can now, again, remember how you do it, field buttons, we're going to hide them all. We're going to give this a new title. And get rid of the legend because it doesn't tell us anything. And basically what we're going to do here is go to that same, that same design thing. I have to make sure I'm clicked on the chart, and I'm going to go to design, and I'm going to pick that one again. And again, get rid of the grid lines. Careful that you are on the grid lines. And so we have that. We could make the, we can make the font a little bigger, or however we want. Like for the months, we could do that. And now I'm going to copy this table, go down here, copy it, click inside it, hit escape so I'm not in that one again, and I want to activate my fields. And so sometimes if it doesn't show you that, you just have to click that to get your field list. And so let's click this again. There we go. And so now, instead of the month that we have there, let's do the destination. So I'm going to go up in the here in the data, and I don't want month, I want destination. And so then I get rid of this one, and now I have the destinations listed here. And I might go ahead and sort this by highest to lowest. So we might do a sort from largest to smallest. We'll see how that works. Okay, so now we're in this again. We're going to do insert, pivot chart, pick one, that's okay, and bring it down here so it's more in line with our information. Again, I'm going to get rid of my legend, which does nothing. I'm going to call this ticket sales by destination. And again, I'm not a fan of this, so I'm going to go up here into the design and pick my gray that I like. I'm going to get rid of my grid lines, and I'm going to get rid of the buttons. And I'm also going to make this this is going to have to be a bigger one because we have a lot of writing underneath here in order to keep that. So we have basically what we've done is we have created our charts that we want on our dashboard. Okay, and just I'll stop there, but I'll show you then what we do next. We're back now to finish up our dashboard, and so you notice these are the steps that we need to do. Create a background, create a heading, create a slicer, adjust color coordinating, font. Also, I need to make sure that the slicer is connected to all charts. Okay, so I've created another page, so I just added that little plus there and had sheet 5. And so one of the things I'm going to do is I'm up here in the kind of in the left of the A and above the 1, and so I can do a background color like a light gray, so it's all gray here. I can create a a Campus Travel 2024 heading. Oh, it's capitalized. Let me put that over here because I'll do it across the whole thing. Okay, And so I'll come back to that, but I want to bring over my chart. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start copying my charts. So I'm going to copy this one. I think I'll do this one first. And you'll notice I have the little handlers all around. I'm doing Control-C on my keyboard. Going to step 5. I'm going to put the chart in somewhere around here. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to get my day of the week chart. Control-C. Going to put it over here. Put it beside it. I think that'll work. And now I'm going to do grab my one that is the destination. I'm going to do Control-C. And I'm going to put this down below, and I'm actually going to make this larger so that we have all of that. Now I'm going to come back and probably do some font things on this. I'm going to click on just the font. You notice I've got that. I can pump that up and also make it bold. The same thing with this. I can just right in here I can do it. This one I can do the same thing, bold, make it a little bigger. So we have all that. Now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to move this over a little bit because I want to put the slicer basically at the side here, and so I want it to show. So I'm going to put the slicer right in here. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to create the slicer by person. So I'm going to click on you can't see a slicer unless you click on a chart. So we're going to go up here to Analyze, and you'll notice we have Insert Slicer. There's Slicer, you can get to Slicer more than one way, but I'm going to go there, and you'll notice I have some choices, and I want this to be by salesperson. So now I have a slicer here, which the color is not bad, but I probably want to go with a gray or maybe blue. I guess that's okay. And I'll probably make it like this and maybe a little bit thinner so that it fits in here. I guess we're just going to have to be a little bit bigger. Yeah. And so then we have, you know, right now it's only connected to this chart. So if I click Andrew, you're going to see the ticket sales change, and it shows just Andrew. So what we need to do is we want to connect the slicer to all of the charts. And so what you do is up here at the top, and I'm in the, actually when I'm in the slicer, you can do all kinds of things. You can make this 2 columns and so on. You can change the width and the all kinds of things. But what I want to do is a report connection, and I want to connect to really all the pivot. I'm just going to click them all because that way I get them all. So that means that this slicer drives them all. And so now if I click John, we not only see his ticket sales by month, what he sold during the day of the week, and also where he sold to, or I can pick on Vivian, and it shows where she sold, and so on. So I've got that done. Now the last, I'm going to take that filter off. I'm going to make this, actually I don't want to, I'm going to, let me take that all back, and I'm actually going to start over to somewhere around here. And I'll type in Campus Travel 2024. And I'm also going to make this much bigger font. Maybe down a little bit. And I'm going to make this font color a blue. And, whoops. This font color. You want the font color. There we go. Let's make it a dark blue, and then we're going to stretch this across the top, and basically I can do that with Emergence Center. It's not quite where I want to be. I've got these steps in here, so I want to get rid of that. These are just the notes that we had, so we'll get rid of those. And I think I'll turn that background to a white, So it, you know, and this is not quite where I want it, so I'm going to move this up here and move, oops, move this one up here and move this up here. This is where it takes me forever because I'm, you know, want it to look nice. And so this is out just a little bit so we can change it. Okay, so now we have a dashboard that basically is done on salespeople, but we will be able to answer the kinds of questions that we want to ask, or we want to answer for the owner just by using this. So this is definitely much better than giving somebody a report that this is the report. So thanks for listening.